What's up, guys, and welcome back to the YouTube channel. And we're taking a look at Wolverine one more time because I've done a few more tweaks to my Marvel Legends Hugh Jackman Wolverine. Thank you all to everyone that watched the part one, I suppose, of the video where I put this gauntlet on these G.I. Joe, Tomax, and Zaymont arms. I got the other arm gauntlet on there now too. But the big thing a lot of people were asking was, is there a way to get the shoulder pads have a kind of more of a like classic comic book cartoon Wolverine that is sleeveless but also has those arm pads? And basically it was kind of a difficult, not a difficult process, but it wasn't a I kept kind of trying to figure out what my solutions were, but I ended up finding a relatively easy solution. But the big thing was those shoulder pads were glued on to this little block, this little tab here, just which worked because it allowed the shoulder pads to sit like in the exact spot they needed to be. They weren't, too far this way or like drooped down over the arm. But so I basically put this in hot water, got it pretty hot. The shoulder pads got very flimsy, so I was kind of scared that I was gonna tear them. But I didn't even really use an X-Acto knife. I just tore on there, and I was able to peel the two shoulder pads off. But then I was like, well, I don't want to permanently attach these to these bare arms because I want to be able to reuse them if I, at some point wanted to swap back to this look. So I had some twist ties, these plain black, very thin twist ties, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna glue them on the inside of the shoulder pad. And at first, my plan was I was just gonna make like a ring, a loop, and I was just gonna loop them on there and try to get them, the stay where I wanted them to. But then I was like, I can't really get them as secure as I want in the position I want. I could make the loop a little tighter, but they were either gonna come down too far on the arm, that it just wasn't stable. So what I ended up doing was I pulled the arms back out, and of course the little butterfly joint cap came out as well. And I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and place the shoulder pad more so in the spot I want it to be. And then I'm gonna force the butterfly joint and the arm back in there. So that's what I did. And if you look close, you can see the not zip tie, the twist tie there. You can see them and on the front. And it actually works out pretty well, and I can move them this way if I need to. I can press them back towards the center if I need to, and arms can still see that push towards the center helps when you go all the way up with the arms. So I can still do anything I want to do with the arms. The thing is that pressure, it's a very tight fit with the twist tie and that butterfly joint. So now I've kind of lost my butterfly movement, but it has given me more security with these arms that are just pegged in there with that electrical tape on the end of the peg. So I have more arm security now, but I have lost my range of motion towards the inside, which is a sacrifice I'm going to have to make for now until I can think of a better solution. But I'm pretty happy with it because I can still rotate. Now, the one thing I'm not going to be able to do is rotate too far up this way. I can press, and it does move. I just don't want to warp these shoulder pads too much, but I can do, pretty much any pose I want to with this setup. So I think it works out pretty well, and I still have the ability, if I want, to go back to these arms because I can just remove these gauntlets, slide them back in there, heat the torso back up to pop these in there, and then I'll just keep my little loop system and place them over here. But that's basically the next biggest mod I wanted to do, and a lot of people were wondering if I had thought through that and what I was going to do for that. And this is my solution if you want this look for Wolverine, to have the sleeveless arms and the shoulder pads. So if y'all have any other ideas, now that you have a better understanding of how they were glued onto here, basically how the engineering of this figure, if you have any ideas that maybe would work better than what I came up with, I would love to hear those in the comments below. I appreciate all comments, whether it's another tip I could use for my own projects, some advice, anything like that. I love hearing. If you have questions, I'm gonna do my best to answer them. So thank y'all to everyone on the previous video asking questions, and then hopefully maybe some of those questions were now answered in this video. But speaking of people in the comments, one person pointed out something that now is probably going to be the next thing I attempt to fix, and I didn't even notice it when I first got the figure out. But if you look at the boots here, this boot mold sits a little lower and it's actually a little skewed. It's a little off center. You can see how much more there's yellow on this side. Someone pointed that out in the comments, and now I can't unsee it. So maybe the next thing I attempt to do with this figure is figure out how I can fix that, because I've looked at it and it seems like this boot is a separate piece. So maybe, and I assume maybe there's a little block or a peg that's glued in, and maybe I can, with heat, get this off and then readjust it, fit it back in there. But that's definitely a project for another day. I just wanted to share the way I got Wolverine looking now. So if y'all enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, please leave a like. Please subscribe if you hadn't. I know a lot of people have subscribed since the last video, so I really appreciate that. Very thankful for that. And hopefully I'll have more content coming soon, so y'all stay tuned. I'll see you next time.